Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome to Coffee and Conversation with Kristen. Wanted to touch base with you about appraisal gaps. I thought it was a perfect time. And then I actually went back in my video archive, and about a year ago, almost to the date, just a couple weeks back, a year ago, we started talking about appraisal gaps and how important they were to lending right now. And one of the reasons why this isn't a magical bubble that's going to burst that many people think that they do. They're still here. Guess what? We're still talking about appraisal gaps every day, and just about with every offer that's written, okay? So I wanted to touch base on it because, again, I did think it was important to do so. So what is an appraisal gap? An appraisal gap is the difference between what the offer price is, what the appraisal is, and what the list price is, okay? So what does that mean? I got all these prices, but where exactly are we? So I'll give you a great example. Let's say you bought a house or put in an offer, I should say, on a house at $200,000. That was the list price. And you offered $225,000. You won the deal. You got the offer, okay? And in that offer, you wrote in there that you would cover an appraisal gap up to $10,000, okay? What that means is that as long as the purchase price, and this is how it's written, okay? No matter what, you're at least guaranteeing that the seller will get a minimum of $10,000 above that appraisal price. Now, if it says that it must appraise at list price in order to be guaranteed that $10,000, that would mean that you would then pay, if let's say the appraisal comes in at $200,000 where the list price was, you would pay $210,000 for the house, okay? If you say you're going to pay the $10,000 guaranteed no matter where the appraisal comes in. If it comes in at $190,000, you're paying $200,000. If it comes in at $215,000, you're paying your $225,000, okay? You're guaranteeing it as long as it doesn't meet your offer price. That is making up, and that is the appraisal gap. Now, that appraisal gap money of that $10,000, if you have to pay that $10,000 to make up the gap you've written in your offer, that is above and beyond your lending. You cannot finance that in. That is where we went wrong in 2008 and 10, where we would finance everything. People came in with nothing. Bam. Now you're overinflated, meaning you actually owe more on the house than it's worth. Okay. But you financed it. All right. So that's the big key. You financed it. Now you cannot finance it. You have to bring that cash to the table. Right? So we need to make sure you have the cash to bring to the table first and foremost. And then we need to add it in to cover that gap that you have offered the seller. All right. So now with that said, you have made up that gap, whether it's $10,000 at under list price, $10,000 at list price, or $10,000 over list price, but under your offer. Hopefully that makes sense and ties it all in. I'm happy to have a conversation with any of you on this. It can be a bit confusing. However, you would make up that appraisal gap, okay? That's the gap between the list price and the offer price and the appraisal price. That would be the gap that you'd have to pay. So again, we can go over that, but just be prepared that if you are offering $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $50,000 over list price and you are also offering to cover that gap is cash and you have to have that cash. Always assume worst case scenario. If you are guaranteeing $10,000, that you have the $10,000 to put into it. If you're guaranteeing $50,000, you have the $50,000 to give that seller if it doesn't appraise. What does that mean? That means that that's true appreciation in the house because you are paying that difference, okay? So those are the key topics. That's a really big thing of conversation right now. I want everybody to understand it because the worst thing is you guaranteeing money that you don't have. Don't ever do that. In fact, a lot of sellers are coming back and asking for proof that you have the cash for that guarantee. Make sure you do. Make sure you've talked to your lender and that they know that you have the cash so that if the listing agent calls them to verify, they can say, yes, we've already worked it up. Everything is good to go. All right. If you have any other questions, drop your comments below. Give me a call. Happy to help any way I can. This market continues to be crazy. We think it's going to be here for a minute. So the more we know, the better we can do with these offers. And then just truly understanding home buying is fun. It has its headaches. Let's try to keep the headaches down with the lines of communication open. Have a great day, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.